The sizzle of barbecue ribs, laughter of friends, and a sunny Saturday. Everything was perfect. That is, until Karen showed up. Arms crossed, eyes blazing, phone in hand. She called the police on me for grilling in my own backyard. But if she thought that would shut me down, she clearly didn't know who she was dealing with. Because the next day, the entire neighborhood came over, and we turned my backyard into the most unforgettable block party this HOA had ever seen. Smoke, cops, and Karen. It was one of those rare, cloudless Saturdays where everything felt just right. The kind where the birds sing louder, the air feels sweeter, and the grill begs to be fired up. I had recently finished remodeling my backyard, a modest patio, string lights over a wooden pergola, a brand new smoker grill, and even a portable fire pit. This was my retreat, my little corner of peace in the chaos of suburban HOA life. And of course, peace was something Karen couldn't stand. Karen lived 3 houses down. She was the self-declared HOA enforcer, short bob haircut, clipboard, and the permanent look of disapproval. You could be trimming your lawn to perfection, and she'd still squint at you like you were harboring a criminal under the hedges. So when I invited over a few friends for a casual barbecue, 6 people total, spaced out, music at a low hum, I already had my mental radar watching for her. Sure enough, 30 minutes in, I saw her peering through her blinds. Then the blinds snapped shut. 10 minutes later, I heard sirens. I honestly thought they were heading elsewhere until they stopped right in front of my house. A pair of officers stepped out. They looked confused. "Afternoon, sir," one said. "We got a complaint about open flames and disturbance. Something about illegal barbecuing?" I blinked. I'm cooking brisket on a legal, contained grill. There's no bonfire, no fireworks, no crowd. They looked around. "Yeah, we figured. Mind if we just check and file the call?" I invited them into the backyard, even offered them a sample of ribs. They chuckled, gave the nod, and walked away. But Karen wasn't done. That evening, I got an official HOA notice slipped under my door, complaint filed under unauthorized event, air pollution, and even potential fire hazard. I stared at the notice, stunned. Unauthorized event? 6 people and a few hot dogs? Clearly, Karen was on a warpath, and it was personal. I called the HOA hotline and got the usual voicemail runaround. I knew from neighbors that Karen had been trying to shut down all forms of outdoor fun for months, claiming noise or security risks, for even kids playing tag on the sidewalks. But now she'd crossed the line. I wasn't going to take this lying down. If she wanted to escalate, fine, but she'd better be ready for what was coming next. That night, I posted in the community Facebook group, "Apparently grilling in your own backyard is now a crime in this neighborhood. So I've decided to make my next barbecue a little bigger. Everyone's invited. Bring your lawn chairs, your appetite, and your Karen stories. Saturday, noon. Let's smoke some brisket and some HOA hypocrisy." Within hours, the post exploded. Neighbors I hadn't spoken to in months commented things like, "Count me in." About time someone stood up to her. "Do you need extra chairs? I've got 12. Even old Mr. Hickson from down the block, the quiet guy who hadn't left his house since the pandemic, commented, "I'll bring potato salad." Suddenly, it wasn't just a barbecue, it was a rebellion, and Karen had no idea what was coming. The Great Neighborhood Barbecue Rebellion. Saturday couldn't come fast enough. By 11 a.m., my backyard was a hive of activity. Folding tables lined the fence, each one covered in homemade sides, mac and cheese, coleslaw, cornbread, baked beans. Kids were running around with popsicles. Someone even brought a bubble machine. And then came the grill brigade. 3 neighbors wheeled over their own barbecue setups to help me cook for the crowd. By noon, my modest gathering had turned into a full-blown block party. Easily 50 people were spread across lawns, laughing, mingling, sharing food, and not a single one of them was causing any trouble. That is, until she appeared. Karen. Marching down the street like she owned it, phone in one hand, HOA clipboard in the other, mouth twisted into a tight frown. She stopped in front of my house and scanned the scene like a prison warden inspecting inmates. Then she started snapping photos of the grills, the tables, the guests, even the children. I walked up to her, ribs in one hand, cool confidence in the other. "Afternoon, Karen. Can I interest you in some brisket?" "This is a violation of HOA codes," she barked. "Unapproved gathering, unregistered vehicles, open flames. This is outrageous." "It's a neighborhood barbecue," I replied. "I've even got city approval." That stopped her. See, the moment she dropped the first complaint, I did my homework. Turns out our town has a public event permit process for block parties. I filed the paperwork that Monday. It was approved in 2 days. Karen's face flushed a deep, furious red. "I'm calling the police," she hissed. I smiled. "Already did. They're coming." Said they'd be happy to stop by and grab a plate. True to form, 20 minutes later a squad car rolled up. But this time, they didn't even step out looking serious. It was the same 2 officers from last week. Officer Ramirez even waved. "Back again?" I asked, handing him a plate. "Wouldn't miss it," he grinned. Karen, now seething, tried to explain why this was an illegal operation. But Officer Ramirez shut her down. "Ma'am, he has a city permit, no noise violations, no illegal activity. This is a peaceful gathering. Please stop misusing emergency services." She gasped like he'd slapped her. "I'm reporting all of this to the HOA board." Now here's the twist. She didn't know half the board was already here. In fact, they were at my backyard table enjoying grilled corn and coleslaw. Mr. Dempsey, the vice president of the HOA, stood up and walked over. "Karen," he said, "I've had 4 separate board members tell me this is the most civil, community-minded event we've had in years. Maybe instead of shutting things down, you should consider joining in." Karen stood there, stunned, frozen in place. The bubble machine kids ran past her, laughing. One accidentally bumped into her, smearing a bit of ketchup on her skirt. She shrieked and stormed off, screaming something about lawyers and bylaws. But we were just getting started. A local blogger had caught wind of the Facebook post and showed up with a camera and mic. They interviewed me and several neighbors, calling it the wholesome rebellion of the summer. I said on camera, all I wanted to do was grill a few ribs with friends, but if HOA rules are being twisted into tools of control, the community has to stand up and say enough. This isn't about one Karen, it's about all of us. The clip went viral overnight. By Monday, our neighborhood was trending on Reddit under #BBQBacklash. And the HOA? They held an emergency meeting. The board voted unanimously to review and rewrite several outdated rules Karen had weaponized for years. Noise after 5 p.m., no gatherings over 6 people, no cooking smells, and her favorite, aesthetics of communal air quality. Gone. Or soon to be. Later that week, I received a message from a neighbor who worked at city planning. He said she tried to file a formal nuisance complaint, but the city is now investigating her for harassment. Turns out she's filed 46 complaints in the past 6 months, all against different people. Let's just say Karen's reign of petty terror came to a smoky, saucy end. Final reflection. Optional. Close. Sometimes standing your ground isn't about making noise, it's about bringing people together. A plate of brisket, a shared laugh, a defiant smile in the face of entitlement. That's how you take back your peace.